See, dear students, the second story, little story, Children at Work, from your reader supplementary book, that is, It So Happened. You see, there's a boy, 11-year-old. His name is Vellu, and he runs away from home. He wanders around for hours before getting on train to Chennai without ticket. Tired and hungry, he doesn't know where to go when a stranger at the station shouts a word of welcome. And there the story starts. See, children who have to work can go to school and play like other children of their age. This is the story of this, that somehow how the children run away from unhappy hopes and they need supports, but sometimes it's not the case. This is a story. Let us start. When the Kanyakumari Express pulled in at Chennai Central, it took Vellu some time to get off. When he finally stood on the platform, his legs felt wobbly, shaking, as if he was still on a moving train. So his legs were shaking as if he was on a moving train. "Oi, out of the way!" a porter went by with a loaded trolley. Vellu jumped aside. Now that there was a porter, coolie, and he shouted at him to make him away of the way. He sat on a bench on the platform, putting his small bundle down. In all his 11 years, he had never seen so many people. Except once a year at the fair in his village. People walked by, bumping into him with their suitcases. A voice announced something on a loudspeaker. Now he was sitting on the bench. This is the scene of a railway station. You might have visited the railway station, how the benches are, how the people are in hurry to come and go. Okay, they have suitcases, luggage with them, and how they walk. A voice announced. See, there was an announcement. Now, near him, a group of people sat. Near him, a group of people sat on their luggage. So there were some people, they were sitting. Generally, you might have seen that this happens when you go to the railway station. People are holding their bags, suitcase. On that only they sit, so that they have different reasons to do this. They don't have to take care and they'll sit on the luggage. Nobody can take the luggage from them. So these are the things. Sometimes it is the problem of benches also. They don't want to sit on the benches, or they want to keep themselves away, or they want to make a place to sit for themselves. So they better sit on their luggage, boxes and all. Looking at the TV hanging from the roof, the noise was terrible. Now he was looking at the television. Nowadays the railway stations are full up with the television. Some news channels and all are going on always. Vellu put his head down on his knees, feeling miserable, unhappy, and exhausted, tired. So Vellu was unhappy, tired. He had run away from his village 2 days ago. So since 2 days he ran away from his village, and he might be in the traveling, in the journey for 2 days. For 2 days he had eaten nothing but some peanuts and piece of jaggery. So from 2 days he had nothing to eat, some peanuts and jaggery he had eaten. In his bundle he carried a shirt, a towel and a comb. See, 11-year child left home, घर से भाग गया, and there are conditions, children are running away, so it shall not happen, but it's happening all the way. He had walked for most of the first day to Kannur and then got on train to Chennai. So he He had walked for most of the first day. First day he was only walking, there wasn't train. And to Kannur he came, where the railway station, and he got the train to Chennai. Well, you had no money for a ticket, but luckily the ticket collector didn't come to unreserved compartment. So he travelled by the unreserved compartment. So there the ticket checkers don't come. And he had tried to sleep on the floor near the door. So he made some place to sleep over there. A group of men next to him had played cards and shouted all nights. So there were people in the train and they were playing cards. Hey, what? New to town? Hey, called out a rough voice. And there somebody asked him a question. Aha, value. Value is asked a question. Are you new to town? Value opened his eyes. Value opened his eyes. There were a lot of people standing around, but nobody was looking at him. Here, hey, so here. He turned around. Behind him was a girl around his own age, and there was a girl of his own age, maybe 11 years, wearing a long banyan that came down to her knees. And she was wearing a long banyan. Her hair was stiff and brownish, and she had a huge sack on one shoulder. She was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing them in the bag. So there was a girl, and she was picking up the plastic and stuffing them, collecting the plastic in her bag. And see her appearance as shown in the image. Why is she calling me? Thought Value. And why is a girl wearing a banyan? So see, now this Value, it is the first time he left home. He hasn't thought about what is actually leaving the house is. What is the experience of living out of the house without anybody, without parents. And see, this happen. So he doesn't understand why a girl is wearing a banyan. No need to stare stupidly. What's your name? And the girl says, don't stare at me and tell me your name. Value, muttered Value, looking away. Now he told his name. So, Mr. Value, said the girl, looking at his bundle, run away from home? And she immediately understood that he has run away from home. Value didn't answer. He didn't want to tell someone strange girl what he had done. So that was the reason. She was stranger to him, so he did not want to share the truth that he ran away from home. He had run away because he couldn't stand his father beating him for one more day. So his father might be beating him every day. So due to that he ran away. His father would snatch away all the money Value and his sisters earn. And see, such a person, if the father start making this, what will the children do? And Value and his sisters earned and spend it on drinking. So his father was habited of drinking, and he was snatching away the money. Don't think I don't know. This place is full of children like you. So what are you going to do here? Become rich? And the girl says, don't think I don't know. Don't think that I don't know you came running from ran away from home. So she knows the truth. She knows there are many children like this, those who run away from home, and they wanted to become rich now. She sat down next to him. Value shifted away slightly, and Value gave her place to sit. He felt hunger pinching him and pressed his stomach with a grimace. Hungry? And what she did, the girl, she pinched him and made a twist. The pinching, holding some part of the stomach, and gave a turn. So twist. Hungry? Asked the girl. Are you hungry? Value, you won't get food by sitting here gloomy. And if you sit here unhappily, sadly, in your sadness, in your unhappiness, if you sit like this, you will not get food. So I can find some if you want. Oh, sorry. Making faces, gloomy and making faces. If you sit here sadly and if you turn your faces down sad, so that will not give you food. It's not the way to get food. Who says? That girl says. And I can find some if you want. What the girl says, I can find you some food if you want, if you are hungry. She picked up her sack and started to walk away. Value stayed on the bench. What should he do? Should he follow this girl? Where was she going to take him? She was disappearing into crowd. So he had to make up his mind quickly. All right, he decided. Anyway, I have no idea where to go. He jumped up and ran after her. She wasn't even looking back to see where he was. So this girl wasn't looking even back, and she just made an offer of food and went off. And now Value had no choice. So he just started following her. In the second part of the story, what happens in the second part that we'll see. Now, first part is full of with the introduction that there is a boy who ran away from the home and hungry now, alone, nobody knows him, he doesn't know anything what to do. He just ran away due to the beating of his father. He caught up with the girl as she was leaving the station. When they got to the road, Value found that the vehicles kept coming and never stopped for anyone. Smoke and dust flew at him from all sides, making his head spin. So these roads were full of with the vehicles and dust. They had to wait for a long time before they could find a gap to run through. So to cross the road, they waited and then find out some place to run. Value kept hesitating, and the girl finally dragged him to the other side. And Value was his first time in such a big city, it might be, so he was very hesitated in crossing the road, so which was full of with the vehicles, but the girl hold his hand and dragged him directly to the other side. What do you think you are doing? Grazing cows? If you stand around in the middle of the road like that, you will be chutney. So this is Indian word. And what she says, if you stand like this in the middle of the road, are you grazing the cows, that you are standing and looking at the cows? No, they will make your chutney, means these vehicles will dash on you. Value's heart was still beating fast. He looked back at Central Station and the traffic speeding by. How had they managed to come through that? So he was wondering that how he came from this. She was just dragging him and they came in, see in the picture, in lot of vehicles they came running. So how they managed to come, he was wondering on that. They walked along the side of the road under some huge signboard. Now they were walking along the side of the road now, and there were huge signboards, boards with some signs. Value looked up at the picture. Bunions, car tires, paints, woman holding a box. The writing was all in English, so he didn't know what it meant. So he just looked at the picture. Value didn't know English, so he just looked at the picture, and the pictures were different companies and advertising: bunions, car tires, paints, woman holding a box, some box. The girl turned onto a wide bridge and walked up. Value stopped and peeped over the railing. And then the girl turned onto a wide bridge and walked up. Value was peeping down what was there from the railing of the bridge. Under him the road ran into the city. They were on the overbridge. In the distance he could see huge buildings and towers and more roads. There were huge buildings, towers and more roads. See that big building with wall around it. If you are not careful, you will soon be counting bars there. So what she says, you see that building, there is a wall around it, and if you are not careful you will be counting the bars. That means that is a prison building, that is a prison jail. The girl grinned and pointed at a huge building. There was a huge building, that was a jail. Well, you squinted and read the Tamil Nadu sign. So it was central jail. It was central jail of the city. Why? I haven't done anything wrong. You don't have to do anything. Just don't get caught. That's all. And what she says, you don't have to do anything. Just don't get caught by the police and they'll take you. What does she mean? Well, you wondered. Meanwhile, the girl was already heading down the bridge with the sack on her shoulder. What was in it? He had seen her putting plastic cups into it at the station. So she was holding the sack and she was walking ahead. She was heading down the bridge. She was going down the bridge now. Means walking on the bridge. And Velu knows that what was there in the sack. He has seen it at the station. She was collecting plastic cups. What are you carrying in that bag? Velu asked her, and she said, things, bottles, papers. Velu wondered what she was doing with them, but he felt shy to ask any more questions. Now Velu wanted to know, but he did not ask. It was still morning, but the sun blasted down on the tar रास्ते पर जो tar road है. The sun was blasted. It was blasting down. Means it was very hot. The roads were very hot, and Velu's bare feet burned. It was not like walking on a mud road. So he was soaked with sweat. He tried hard to walk in the shade and keep up with the girl in the same time. So he was trying to walk where there was shade because he was barefooted. He was barefoot. No, nothing was in his feet to wear. So he was trying to walk with her, parallel to her, and he was trying to walk in the shaded part. She walked really fast. How far away was the food? Now he was waiting for the food because he came after her only for food. After almost an hour of walking, they stopped in front of a big building. Sri Rajeshwari Prasanna Kalyana Mandapam. Read Velu slowly. Now see, there was a board where they stopped. It was a big building, and that was Sri Rajeshwari Prasanna Kalyana Mandapam Hall. So, well, you read it. A sign with letters made of flowers said, Groom J.V. Vinayagan, Bride Rani. So, it was a marriage hall, and what was there? The groom. Groom means the boy. क्या कहते हैं उसको? दूल्हा. J.V. Vinayagan, and the bride, Dulhan, her name was Rani. Well, you stared at the big cars parked outside. One of the car had a flowers garland and roses tapped on it. The girl looked around, pulled one off quickly and stuck it in her hair. And the girl looked around and took the one flower from that car. Come on, she said. Are we going to eat here? Asked Velu, looking at the huge hall and the people inside. So Velu thought that this is the place where marriage function is there. So are they going to have some food there? Hopes, said the girl, shaking her thumb under his nose. And she was shaking her thumb, and she said, hopes. She led him behind the hall. There was a big garbage bin overflowing with rubbish, and she went behind the hall, and there was a big tin box, garbage bin, and full of rubbish. Two goats were standing on the pile, fighting for a banana leaf, and there were two goats and they were fighting for banana leaf. A cloud of flies buzzed around their legs, and there were flies also. The dustbin, there's a big dustbin. There was a rotten smell in the air. The girl picked up a squashy banana and held it out to Velu. And the girl took a banana and gave it to Vellu and said, "Here's your food." Vellu was shocked. Are we going to eat their leftovers? And now see, this is the condition. You go in big cities and there are children everywhere. The poverty is not only in India but such countries, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, China, Africa. There are many such countries. Those are so poor, so poor. There are so many homeless people and they are eating leftovers because we are wasting the food. Chay, what do you think? I am a dog. I only take untouched food. Here, some more, catch. She threw him a vada. Vellu looked at it with distaste. And Vellu said, "What you are thinking? Chi, I am not going to eat it. I am not a dog to eat the leftover." And then she was not paying attention to what he was talking. Then she threw a vada. There was a leftover vada, and Vellu looked at it with distaste. "Come on, hero, eat it. You think I like it?" So she says, "Come on, hero, eat it. Do you think that I like it, eating the leftover? I told you, I'll find you something to eat. Don't think I have money to buy food for you. You would better eat what you get until you have your own money." And then she says, "Don't think that I have money to purchase food. I just said I'll get some food for you. And this is the food." Vellu hesitated, but the stomach squeezed him again. He was hesitating. But the stomach, he was very hungry. And the stomach was very empty. So it squeezed him. So it was hungry. He gulped down the banana and vada. And he gulped down, gulping, swallowing. See, gulping is a sound. When we drink water or something, there's a sound. Gulp, gulp. Mostly the sound can be heard when somebody drinks something very hastily. Or you might have seen the cow or the bulls drinking the water. They are making the gulping sound. So gulping means without chewing, like swallowing. Okay, so that is called gulp. His stomach felt better immediately. He could have eaten at least 10 times more, but the girl could find only one more banana which she ate herself. And he might have eaten 10 bananas also, but there the girl find only one more banana, and that banana also she ate herself. It's too early. They have only eaten tiffin. If you are still hungry, you will have to wait for them to finish lunch. And what she says, so she is experienced of this. She says that we are too early. They have eaten only tiffin. Okay. So if you are still hungry, you have to wait for them to finish the lunch. And after the lunch, there will be lot of leftover. Okay. You can wait if you from the heap and you can wait if you want. I have to work. I am going. And she says that if you want some food, you can wait here. I have some work, so I am going. So she had to go. She picked up a couple of bottles from the heap and threw it in her sack. Then she walked off. Vellu panicked. He was not very happy. He was worrying. He was thinking. And he realized that if the girl left him, he had no idea where he was and what to do. So this was a big city. What to do in this city? So he was thinking this girl is only help to him. It was better to stick to her. She seemed to know her way around. he ran after her again. Hey, he called. He did not even know the girl's name. Hey, what is your name? He asked, hurrying behind her. She stopped and turned around. Oh, so you have been following me around without even knowing my name, Jaya. And she says that you don't know even my name and you are following me. So, Jaya, I'm not following you. What then? Who got you food? Can I come with you? Where are you going? So now Velu wants to live with her. Come if you want. This bag is full. I have to go home to get another one. And she says she has to go home. Now, surprising, she has a home. What kind of home it must be? Let us see in the third part of the story. Okay, Jaya and Velu walked along the roads for half an hour until they came to a bridge across a dirty trickle of water. We are in Triplicane now. See, that's Buckingham Canal, said Jaya. And what Jaya said, this is the, we are in triplicate. These are the three things now here. And that is the Buckingham Canal. Now, Velu stared. This was a canal. Near some puddles of water was a row of strangest hut he had ever seen. And there he was staring. This is a canal. Is this a canal? Oh, see this question. Children, notice this. This was a canal. This was a canal. Is this a question? Question mark is given. Question mark दिया है. पर क्या ये क्वेश्चन है? ये गलती करते हैं सारे इंडियन इंग्लिश स्पीकर. जितने भी मोस्ट ऑफ इंग्लिश स्पीकर्स है 80% वो ये गलती करते हैं, है ना. सो उनका क्वेश्चन फ्रेमिंग जो होता है, क्वेश्चन मेकिंग जो होता है, उसका ग्रामर जो होता है वो हमेशा गलत होता है. वो बहुत बार मैंने देखा. 80% इंग्लिश स्पीकर व्हाट दे से, दिस सर टुडे इज़ क्लास, है ना. बच्चे आप लोग हमेशा पूछते हो, बोलते हो टुडे इज़ ऑनलाइन क्लास. व्हाट शुड बी द क्वेश्चन? इज़ देयर एनी ऑनलाइन क्लास टुडे? क्वेश्चन मार्क. सो क्वेश्चन मार्क हैज़ ए डिफरेंट पैटर्न. इट्स ए different kind of sentence. It has a separate pattern. But in Indian speakers, they make it a question only, a sentence, by giving it a tone. तो थोड़ा सा टोन दे देते हैं और ऐसा लगता है कि बस उन्होंने सवाल पूछा. बट दैट इज़ नॉट ए क्वेश्चन. टोन इज़ नॉट ए क्वेश्चन. इवन द टोन इज़ रॉन्ग. इन इंडिया मोस्ट ऑफ इंग्लिश स्पीकर जो है क्वेश्चन के लिए हाई टोन यूज़ करते हैं. बट ब्रिटिश इंग्लिश रिसीव्ड प्रोनाउंसिएशन, यानी ओरिजिनल जो इंग्लिश है वहाँ पे क्वेश्चन का टोन जो होता है लो टोन होता है और रिक्वेस्ट का जो टोन होता है वो हाई टोन होता है. सो दिस इज़ द डिफरेंस. एंड ये जो क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे दिया है, दिस वाज ए कैनल. सो ये द स्ट्रक्चर इज़ रॉन्ग, बट दैट इज़ इंडियनाइज इंग्लिश इन द इंडियन वे. The near some puddle of water, it was like a puddle of water. There was a row of strangest hut he had ever seen. ऐसे घर ही उसने देखे नहीं थे. And she is calling it a home. That was huts. They were built out of all sort of things: metal sheet, tires, bricks, wood, and plastic. So these homes, these huts were made of. Why they were strange? They were made of all sort of things. They stood crookedly and looked as if they would fall any moment. And वो ऐसे बने थे, they were तिरछे, टेढ़े, तिरपे, crooked, and as if they will fall at any moment. Is this where you live? These houses are strange, said Velu. In our village, the houses are made up of mud and palm leaves. Jaya went around to one of the huts and dumped her sack outside. Then she picked up an empty one and she dumped the sack. She kept the sack over there, and she picked up one empty sack from the hut. Let's go. She turned to Vellu and gave him a shove. And she said that, come on, let's go. And she gave him the shove, a push. She pushed him. At least help me now. Here, wear these and come with me. And what she says, come, help me now to get the what I am doing in my work. You shall help me and wear these. And she gave him, she threw him a pair of old shoes without laces and pushed a sack and stick into his hand. Now she gave him also a sack and a stick and gave the shoes, pair of shoes. Vellu was confused. What work did she want him to do with these things? The only work he had ever done was on the landowner's farm, weeding and taking cows out to graze. So now what work she is going to give him? He was wondering, he was thinking about it. Are there any farms in the city? He asked Jaya. Now he asked Jaya, are there farms in the city where he can work and get some money? She laughed and thumped her stick on the ground. Farms? There are no farmers here. We are rack pickers. There are no farmers here. And we are rack pickers. Rack pickers? What is rack picker? See my sack full of things I collected. Collected from where? Asked Vellu. From the rubbish bins. Where else? You collect rubbish. Vellu had never heard of such a thing. Hey, blockhead. Hey, blockhead. Is your head blocked? It's not any rubbish. Only paper, plastic, glass, such things. We sell it to Jam Bazaar, Jaggu. And what she said, we pick up these things, plastic things, and we sell it to Jaggu. You might have seen. बड़े बड़े शहरों में बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं, ये वो यही काम करते हैं, दिन भर कचरा जमा करते हैं, प्लास्टिक जमा करते हैं, फिर शाम को वो बेचते हैं और उससे उनको पैसे मिलते हैं थोड़े बहुत, 100-200, दिन भर घूमते रहते हैं इधर उधर, है ना. सो देखो, ये खेतों में काम करना उससे कई गुना अच्छा है, रिस्पेक्टेड है, पर पीपल आर डूइंग दिस. Vellu was puzzled. He had heard of people throwing away rubbish, but why would anyone want to buy rubbish? Who's Jam Bazaar Jaggu? Why is he buying all this? And he had questions in his mind. So, you think he buys it for show? He sells it to factory. Come on, I don't have time to waste like you. And she knows that why it is bought by Jaggu. He is buying it and selling it to factories, and they are reusing it. So that is happening. And she says, I don't have time to waste. Vellu did not move. He hadn't run away and come to this new place to dig through garbage bins. Jaya poked at him with her stick. And Jaya poked at him and with her stick. And what happened? It was not the thing that Vellu came for. Vellu did not want to do these garbage things, to collect these things. He did not come for this. Only because of beating of his father he came here. Right? So only because of beating of his father he came here. Now she poked at him. Poking means ungli lagana. She poked him with her stick. वो जो stick है उससे उसने poking किया. Look here, she shouted. If someone gets there before us, we don't get anything. Don't just stand there posing. Big hero, I am trying to help you. Who filled your stomach today? And what she says, I gave you food today. As if ऐसा है जैसे उसने अपनी पॉकेट से निकाल के दिया है. But she is telling him that this is the only way to live. And Vellu scratched his head and sighed. I'll do it for now, he thought, until I find a better job. The story ends here. The story ends here with many questions. Okay, this is the story by Geeta Wolf. Anushka Ravi Shankar and Arjit Sen. Arjit Sen. So from trash on rag pickers children and recycling. So they have written some stories on the children, and from that this is the one story. This story wants you to think, if running away from home will give you such a thing, is there anyone in the city there who will help you? Now he has luckily got someone, Jaya, but people, if you go and sit in a city, nobody will even look at you, right? So it's the first thing, that is our family. Our family, we shall take care of that, and we shall try to solve our problems of the family here in the family. The running away from the problem is not the solution, and such a thing if is done, you will definitely face problems like this. So ऐसे ही problem face करने पड़ेंगे. This happens, this generally happens, right? So this is the story, this is the story of a child who ran away from home. Read it and solve the exercise.